Two planes into the towers of 1 and 2 World Trade Center. A third plane crashed into the Pentagon.
We here at TSVN Network, the TFL and the TCAA, just want to put our thoughts and prayers out there to everyone who is still affected by the tragedies of 9/11. And we also want to express our thankfulness to all the men and women, past, present, and the future, who fight for our freedoms and allow us to do what we do, which is put on this show for you guys.
To be an American, where at least I know I'm free.
Welcome everyone to the latest installment of the TSPN radio show. We are back and better than ever. I'm David Rome, your host. With me today is Dan Tirico. Say hello to everyone, Dan.
Oh, how's it going?
Today's show, we are going to go over the latest announcement of the TCAA top poll, the top 10 coaches poll. We are also going to go over some of the week 1. We're actually going to preview some of the week 2 games and give you our locks of the week for week 2. And go over what else we think may happen, not happen in the TCAA. We're also going to discuss the TFL. We're going to go over a couple of week 1 games and preview some week 2 games, and then also give you our locks. It's going to be a weekly installment where we discuss we're going to do some locks of the weeks, our Stone Cold locks, and keep a tally of everything to see exactly how good we do and how bad we do. Anybody who wants to join in, we get enough participants, we may even have ourselves a competition and a prize at the end. What do you say, Dan? Ready to get this thing started?
Oh, let's go with it, man.
Alrighty, let's go right off the bat and let's talk about the latest results of the TCAA coaches poll that was just announced earlier tonight. And there were a lot of surprises when I looked at this list when it came out, and there's some teams dropped and some teams are added, and it's, you know, some are shockers and some aren't. Anything that you noticed right away, Dan, that you felt was wow?
Honestly, I'm not sure where to start. You know, we've got a lot of movement. You know, we've got people on the poll that weren't there to begin with, and we've got people that were on the poll to begin with that are no longer there.
I agree. I would say that the biggest snub is the Dragon Slayers. The fact that they are not ranked is completely shocking. They were a number 5 seed, and they beat a number 6 seed, yet they're out of the top 10. I can't see how that's even possible.
Well, yes and no. You know, like we were discussing a little bit prior to this. You know, I think it all depends on how you break it down and how you look at it. They did beat you know, as far as the number 6, but you know, we got to look at who they beat, how that person scored. You know, I know I think the coaches poll, I think for the most part, I think a lot of it was going off of total score. A lot of it looks like it mimics the computer's power rankings. Can't say that I you know, agree with all of it. But you know, yeah, it is kind of a shocker. They do Dragon Slayers. You know, they have a good team. Looks like they did receive several votes. But also looks like, you know, one of the things I would wonder, you know, when you look at breaking it down as far as other people receiving votes, I wonder if there were not more people overall receiving votes this go around versus, you know, people who didn't even receive a vote versus last time. So I mean, the pie's gotten distributed more, if that makes sense.
No, that completely makes sense. You know, more people in the votes. I mean, we all know. I mean, we pretty much ripped apart the preseason poll pretty good after it was announced, and then rethinking as we were going through our preseason predictions of the poll not being exactly how we felt it should truly be. But either way, when you look at it, there's just, I don't know, just some surprises on there.
Well, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I don't mean to interrupt. Looking at as far as Dragon Slayers dropped out. Now, also, did Brian Made Me Do It? No Sankey, I'm Good. Fat Ball, Southern Superman, Tedzilla, Woodbury Walkers. All of them were on the poll, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
I believe
all of them.
out of the preseason top 10, 4 of the teams won. 3 of them are still ranked.
Okay.
The only winner who got dissed was the Dragon Slayers, and like I said, to me that's robbery right there, in my opinion. And the other thing that, we have the Medicine Men, who were ranked number 1 preseason. They won, and they even dropped a couple. I mean, the Volunteers, congratulations. You are the number 1 ranked team after the week 1.
Volunteers was also the highest scoring out of week 1. I think has a lot to do with it.
No, that probably has a lot to do with it, but they weren't in the top 10 to begin with. So to jump at least 10 teams, at least, who knows where they were before that, but to have jumped at least 10, just winning, sure, you scored the most points, but if I remember correctly, they did beat a ranked team, if I recall. Was it No Sankey? I think they beat the number 4 ranked team.
Well, okay. I mean, so if we're going to look at it one way for one person, then we have to look at that way for all of them. You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but if we're
upset that Dragon Slayers is out because he beat a seeded person, then by the same token, if the Volunteers beat seed 4, then shouldn't he have that or above?
He was unranked.
Oh, well, okay. I'm just asking.
He was unranked, I'm saying. That's what's crazy. But, it wasn't like, he beat the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
But even though that, I still think that would be a travesty that if you beat the number 1 seed and you weren't ranked, that you became the new number 1. That'd be crazy.
Gotcha. Yeah, I wouldn't have put him as high as number 1 regardless.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just personal, but I think it shows the flaws too that we had. Like you said, we did tear apart the preseason ranking. Maybe people were just, disregarding that and kind of going fresh, shooting from the hip per se. But so I don't know. What do you think? How would you have the top 10 ranked?
If we want to go by coaches polls, I can give you my coaches poll. I have no issue with that. I personally kept the Medicine Man number 1. You're number 1, you won. You should stay number 1 until you lose. Or that's just the way the college polls work. You have to lose to drop, and they didn't lose. They won, and so to me that means that they should have stayed number 1. Dragon Slayers, of course, I had them number 2. Okay. They beat a ranked team. Wild Wills, I had them 3, and Garnet and Black, I had them 4. They were the 4 teams that were seeded in the preseason who won their games. They should be the top 4. You could probably say maybe one of them maybe not being in the top 4, maybe the Volunteers maybe being 3 or 4. I had them at 5. They were one of the newest ones who won. They did beat a ranked team, the number 4 team, but it just, I don't know. It just didn't, I just don't like them being ranked number 1, Volunteers. Okay. I think it's just, but that's just one man's opinion.
No. You're perfectly entitled. That's why we're here. We're here to discuss it and go through it. I just, allow me to play devil's advocate. Admitting that our preseason poll was fairly incorrect, and then to base week 1 off of what we consider incorrect polling with preseason, then
I believe you, because I had the Dragon Slayers ranked preseason number 1 myself. Gotcha. So it's a travesty. They should have been 1 to begin with. They got dissed on that. Then they go out and they beat a ranked team, and then they're just dropped.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. You know,
No,
it
no,
is what
I
it is.
see. I agree. You know, you are correct, sir. You know, it is a travesty looking at it that way. I think a lot of people were going off of the computer ranking. I think people were looking at scores, not necessarily considering composition. Now I didn't necessarily go off of scores. When we were doing the media poll, we were looking at, you know, we looked at scores, we looked at people who, you know, people who won, looking at the players on the team who we felt, you know, strength of schedule. I say strength of schedule, I mean the players that have on their team, you know, what those players' schedule and stuff is, because realistically everybody should be, you know, have you know, playing fairly you know, level opponents across the board.
Well, you're also the media, so you're biased. You want ratings.
Well, yeah. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. You know, who doesn't love a scandal, right?
Exactly.
You know, also, now as far as with the poll, I mean, how many responses have we got with new poll? People looking compared to past things we have posted. I mean, it has blew up. You know, we've definitely got some people's attention.
Oh, the poll's got. I mean, from my understanding, there's a lot of fired up people. I would love to have gotten any of them on the show today. Unfortunately, due to time restraints, I'm sure we weren't able to get anybody in. Hopefully, maybe next time we'll be able to get somebody else in here who is a little fired up. But I mean, there was definitely, I mean, one team in particular I know felt that they're getting dissed, and I'm not talking about the Dragon Slayers. I don't want to name any team names or any owners, presidents, or anything of that nature, but I definitely know that there was one team who feels that they were dissed. They were ranked a little low, but you know, some people like to be the underdog, and I think it's, you know,
everybody loves an underdog.
You know, everyone likes to make a big deal about their problems or where they're at and why they should be here. But, you know, every now and then, you know, if you can make a big deal about anything you want.
Yeah.
But
well,
sometimes you just got to strap them on and show it.
The best advice I can give, hey, you know, you feel like you got slighted, use it for motivation. Come out week 2, bust your game wide open. Hey, we'll see what the rankings show after that, and take it from there. Are we looking at doing this show about the same time each week?
I believe so. I believe this is going to be a Wednesday night installment on a regular for all of our shows. Might be, you know, could be a few here and there non-Wednesday night shows, but pretty much it's going to be a Wednesday night show. So for anybody who's, you know, if there's better availability, let us know. We are trying to, you know, we have a very, very small window to get from Monday night games to Thursday night games to get these recorded, to get our predictions and previews and what everybody is suggesting and what they want to talk about. So at any time, let us know. We'll work with you.
I've got another idea as well. Do we have a Twitter account?
Oh, we do have a Twitter account, actually. It's it's TSPN Network, or at TSPN Network. You can tweet anything you want towards us. We'll respond back. You can email us, tspnnetwork@gmail.com.
Hey,
and of course, you can text any of us.
Text us, email. You know, you got a comment, complaint, even a compliment. You know, feel free, pass it along. We might even do some on-air readings and toss about you know, what you got to say.
Yeah, if you got a complaint about the poll, you know, hashtag that bad boy. Hashtag poll robbery. Hashtag poll snub.
You know, also for what it's worth,
we'll get on the air.
You know, I think our last, you know, 7 through 10, even the ones who didn't make it into the 10, you know, let's say 11, 12, 13, you know, I think it's all fairly close at this point. We've got one game down. You know, there's a lot of football left to go.
Oh, tons of football left to go. And speaking of tons of football and everything else, I think we should probably look into week 2 to see exactly what games we're looking at, which we think are going to be some big games.
You want to start with locks, or you want to go with some division with some rivals?
Let's look at the games first. Let's preview a couple of games first before we get into our locks. What is the first game we have on tap?
Let's look at Wild Will versus Terry Tate's Pain Train.
Okay.
Was that one of them?
I believe so. It was.
All right, I think it was too. Is this one? This one is a. Is this one a rivalry?
From what I have read, it is considered a rivalry game. They are in different conferences, with Wild Will being in the Pac-6 and Terry Tate's Pain Train being in the ACC.
Okay.
You got East versus West Coast.
All right, and how did Wild Will do in the rankings?
Wild Will is actually coming in as our number 4 ranked team. So this could be, an interesting game. Now we're actually getting into our rankings being because of what you've proved. And Wild Wills, they had some thrills.
Well, I'll tell you what, they do have some thrills. I would, if you don't mind, I would like to go first on this one. As far as Wild Will versus Terry Tate, I am predicting an upset. I'm going with Terry Tate on this one. I think yes, is right. I think Wild Will he come on strong. He put up a good showing. But with some of his players, I don't expect a repeat performance this week. I'm looking at just looking at the matchup, and what can I say? I got a feeling. I'm going with Terry Tate on this one.
I don't know. I mean, you look at Will's team, and there's a reason why he's ranked number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Marshawn Lynch, who was an absolute beast mode in week 1. You got AJ Green, another stellar performance. Julius Thomas, 3 touchdowns, was it?
Yes. Now,
I
don't see Julius Thomas having 3 touchdowns. I think he's going to be Peyton Manning's. I think it's going to be his primary target. But I don't. We might have it a couple more times this season, but I don't think that's going to be a regular. If he's going to do 3 touchdowns every game, then he should have went ahead of Jimmy Graham.
That's very accurate. I mean, I'm not gonna, this isn't one of my lock picks, but I still like Wild Will's team going here. I mean, you look at Terry Tate's team, and you're thinking to yourself, wow, he's got Matt Ryan, who was very good. He showed up in week 1, but
Levon Bell, man, was outstanding.
Jamal Charles, where was he? I don't know what happened in Kansas City, but I think they must have forgot week 1 started.
I agree. I think he's going to bounce back though. I think that's going to be the deciding factor with Terry Tate.
I mean, you look at Terry's team, and he had a lot of people. He had Matt Ryan, Percy Hartman, Levon Bell, all solid games. But I mean, can Percy do that 2 weeks in a row? Is Jamal Charles going to be as bad as he was 2 weeks in a row? So, I mean, there's definitely reasons to see how Terry Tate can win, but I'm going to go with people who have the constant, and that's on Wild Will's team. So I would definitely take Wild Will on this one, but it's not my lock, but I'm definitely not going for the underdog. Yeah,
not my lock as well, but I'm going with Terry Tate. So who's our looking at our next matchup? Are we going to is it Big Deal versus Land Thieves?
It is, and that is the TCAA Game of the Week.
Oh.
Yeah, you have your number 2 team at home against the number 9 ranked team. I'm kind of a big deal versus at the Land Thieves at Wilkinson Stadium. Both are going in 1-0. You've got the big deal led by Calvin Johnson and also Drew Brees. And actually, I believe both teams have Drew Brees, if I recall correctly. So this could be one of those. This is one of those games where it's the game of the week, but
it's coming down to the scrubs.
It's definitely gonna come down to who's got the better. Actually, they both have Calvin Johnson and Drew Brees. So you've already wiped out if they were to start each of those players. You've already basically matched up 2 out of so many of your players. So are you gonna pick somebody else? Do you think maybe I have a better option of not going with Calvin Johnson or Drew Brees? I mean, that's pretty tough to say. I'm going to bench one of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got Matt Forte versus Monty Ball. I like to look at the tight ends. We got Jordan Reed and we got Greg Olson. Greg Olson put up some good numbers last week. He looked
Yes,
good. Reed, on the other hand, is he even going to play? I mean, I was thinking he got hurt.
Reed,
And even so, he's playing for Washington. I don't think he's going to. Actually saying Reed won't play in week 2, says RG3. So that was less than a minute ago. Breaking news right here on TSPN.
Breaking news: Reed is out.
Reed
Is that what I'm hearing?
That is
Reed
what
is
you're
out?
hearing. Mm-hmm.
And that came from RG3 too. Wow, I mean, you have
Yeah.
some connections over there, Tirico.
Hey, what can I say? You know, I got a guy.
You got a guy who's got a guy that's got a guy.
I got a guy that's got a guy.
So that means he's going to have to start Jared Cook. Huh.
Well, you know, that may not be a bad option, actually.
Well, I mean, can St. Louis be as bad as they were last week? God. I mean, that was. I mean, I know they have a backup quarterback and all, who now has a backup quarterback of the backup quarterback, but oh my God, St. Louis. I don't know. I mean, I think. I mean, and that. I mean, if you're looking at tight ends, you're looking at Land Thieves then pulling off the victory.
I am. I'm going with Land Thieves on this one.
Land Thieves. I mean, it's a good pick. I mean, he is at home, so this should be their type of game. But, you know, kind of a big deal. Enjoy that ranking, my friend.
Oh, snap.
Enjoy that
All
ranking.
right.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
David,
You want to go on to? Yeah, go for it.
No, before we go anywhere else, do you have any locks for the week?
Locks for the week. I have 2 locks for the week.
All right, who you got, man?
One of my first locks is going to be the team who, if I was the president, and then I was also the coach on the field, pissed off, and I feel bad for the Greenville Green Devils because Dragon Slayers are the Dragon the Dragon Slayers are coming in, and they're hot. They've got to be.
Is this Ray Rice pissed off?
Well, I don't want to condone hitting anybody, but or maybe even drop kicking anybody. A la what's his name? Antonio Brown, I believe it was.
That was I like that.
Yeah, I'm not condoning that kind of
over the guy.
violence.
I don't think he meant to do that. But so all right, Dragon Slayers over.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Dragon Slayers are pissed off. They have to be. If they're not, then there's something wrong with their coaching staff because you got Colin Kaepernick, you got Adrian Peterson, Deshaun Jackson, Mike Wallace, Jason Witten, J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt is gonna just put the team on his back and gonna say, "I've got this, guys. Don't you worry about it." Dragon Slayers. That's my lock.
That's not my lock, but I do agree. We got Kaepernick versus the Bears versus Rodgers versus the Jets. Jets look pretty decent, and they also have Green Devils have Reed as their tight end. So, hey, yeah, exactly.
We already got breaking news on that bad boy.
Exactly. So, who's your next lock?
The next lock is actually going to be an upset.
Oh,
we are on upset
really? So we've got 2 upsets.
We are on upset alert. Upset alert, my friends. Upset alert.
Who we going
and
for?
I'm, the number 3 medicine men. They were preseason 1. They even won last week and got dropped. And sadly, they're going to drop even farther. I've got them losing to the Gondor University White Knights. That is my lock and upset of the TCAA. You got Gondor with Andrew Luck, Jamar Charles, and like we've discussed before, there's no way he's going to score 4 points again or whatever it was he scored. You got Antonio Brown, drop kicking fools. So, I mean, and he's got Jared Cook. So, that's actually not too good for him. But J.J. Watt as well. I mean, you look at this. It's the team. Upset special. Medicine man number 3. Not any longer, my friend.
And this is despite home field advantage.
Yeah, well, home field. Not in college, my friend.
Alrighty, hey, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one, I think. Well, he does have Big Ben as his quarterback. That's really going to hurt him. I don't know. I'm going to leave that ball in your court on that one. I'm not touching this one. All right, so we got those two down. My locks of the week, actually, no upsets. Played it fairly safe this go-around. I'm saying Garnet and Black versus the Dynasty.
Okay.
I'm going with Garnet and Black on this one.
Garnet and Black. I mean, they are a ranked team.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. And I feel they should have been ranked a little bit higher, but they're definitely going to probably take care of business here. I mean, you look at the Dynasty, and they've got some decent players. I mean, they got Nick Foles, and we all know how you feel about Nick Foles.
Yeah.
And, but Kelvin Benjamin proved why he was a number 1 draft pick. So, I mean, Cam Newton didn't play last week, and maybe that was the reason why Kelvin Benjamin got so much and handled business, because he had Derek Anderson actually throwing the ball instead of running. So, I mean, if Cam Newton starts, that might be the Dynasty's downfall, because he may not be looking to be throwing it to Benjamin. So I think that really is where it plays. Will Cam Newton start, or will he not? They actually have the exact same tight ends, so that throws away your tight end theory. Although the Garnet and Black has Vernon Davis, so that bumps that up a little.
Yeah. My next one, gonna hit the controversy button a little bit. Well, no, not so. I think the Volunteers, they were bumped up to 1. I know you disagree with that. I, in no way, shape, or form, think they should be as high as they are. But I do think they have a pretty good team, and I think it will be enough to. I can say it's a lock over Aardvarks. We're looking at Kaepernick versus McCown. He's got LaShawn McCoy and Bush. We're looking at Eddie Lacy and Levon Bell. Assuming Eddie Lacy, if he's not got health issues or, that sort of thing. Then we got Calvin Johnson, Demaryius Thomas, Fitzgerald Watkins. I just, I'm going. Like I said, I don't think they should be number 1, but I think they've got enough to get the job done against the Aardvarks.
Against the Aardvarks, they're definitely playing like a number 1 team. I would go ahead and just say here that if Asheville Aardvarks beat the Volunteers,
then where do the Volunteers go from there?
Well, they definitely better be out of the damn top 10 first off. But I mean, in my opinion, you're losing to the worst team in TCAA right now. So. Oh,
really? You put the Aardvarks that bad?
Yeah, they're down there. I mean, they scored I think like 60 points last week or something like that. So they're not looking pretty. I mean, you look at their team and you're thinking, how can that be possible? But that's more than a lock. I mean, that's a guarantee. That's a stamp it, mail it in. I mean,
yeah, like I said, I went safe with this one. So,
the Volunteers, they may not even have to get off the bus and win that game. So, I mean, that's an easy. I mean, that's a very safe pick in my opinion. I mean, maybe this pick but at the same time, this could. Who knows? I mean. It should be the Volunteers. It should definitely be the Volunteers. So I mean, I could see you going on the safe way. I went a little try to make things look good, and you went pretty easy here, in my opinion, Tirico.
Well, I did. Well, that's what a lock is. A lock is a lock. Now I did, earlier Terry Tate over Wild Will, so I do that. I have one of those.
You didn't lock it though. You didn't lock it.
I'll let you lock it.
Yeah, I lock everything. Doors, everything. Well, that's going to be it for the TCAA. We're going to go ahead and take a break here, and when we get back, we'll be discussing a little TFL. See you all in just a second.
This episode is brought to you by Ingalls Pharmacy, Walgreens Pharmacy, and Old Town Pharmacy, where all of your pharmaceutical needs can be met. And remember, it is flu season. It's time to get a flu shot.
Bad boy, what you want, what you gonna do? When you 7 come for you.
back to the TSPN Network, TFL and TCAA show.
Once again, it's myself, David Rome, with Dan Tirico, and we are now going to cover the TFL. Going to go over some of the Week 1 results and previews and our Stone Cold Locks on those as well. We also want to remind everybody that there is a league poll going on right now, and it's about us. Are you even listening? Are you watching what we're doing? Are you participating? I haven't seen too much participation, but we want to know what you think. Do you like us? Do you love us? Do you want to hear us? Yeah. Do you give two shits about us? Sorry for any of the kids who may not understand the word shit. Or do you think we just suck?
They hear worse on Disney these days.
Okay, well, that's right. You gotta love Disney. Anyway, we have ways to get a hold of us. Once again, we do this show live, even though it's taped. We can do it live, and anyone, anytime can get a hold of us. What are the ways to get a hold of us again, Dan?
We've got a Twitter. Twitter account is at
TSPN Network.
We've got email. We've got text. If you don't want to wait to hear what we're saying, hop on here live. We see people logging into the website right now. You're in here, you're making trades, you're looking at people. Hey, hop on over to YouTube. See what we're doing. Don't like what we got to say? Hey, send us a tweet. Tell us you're stupid, or tell us you disagree. Let us know what you're thinking. You want to come on the show? Let us know. We'll make arrangements. We'll try to get you in, but we do have a limited time frame. We like to get these shows in, preferably by opening Thursday if we can. So that's why we typically kind of stay up late and knock them out. But we want feedback. We want to hear what you guys got to say. Love us, hate us. Tell us anything.
Exactly. I mean, like Shiva Blasters. I mean, 5 minutes ago, what were you doing? You weren't talking to us. Just saying. Outkicked my coverage.
We know he wasn't. Well, never mind. I'm not going there.
Up. Never mind. Up. Anyway, let's get back to the business at hand. It's the TFL. It's Week 1 results, and there were some crazy results. Too many to even discuss, but we'll discuss two. What do we got on tap to discuss here today on our results from Week 1?
Actually, I'm not sure which ones we're discussing for Week 1.
Oh, damn you, Tirico.
I didn't get that memo. I'm gonna have to fire an intern or something. I've got our games that we're going over. I've got my locks. But I am prepared to discuss any of them. Let's roll.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and let's discuss the Super Bowl III rematch. It was the Every Damn Wrestling versus the Northeast Flying Bombers.
Oh, you did tell me that, actually.
And if anyone forgot, or you're new to the league and you're not sure who won last year, it was the Northeast Flying Bombers who had defeated Every Damn Wrestling last year in the Super Bowl III. This year, Week 1, not so much. Yeah. Will got his revenge, and for Will, if you're listening, you shouldn't be, because you should be with your lovely new wife. For everyone who wasn't sure, Will got married over the weekend, so he has no. I don't even know if he even realizes that he won, because he was supposed to be on a plane to some crazy island. He'll be back later in the week. I'm sure he'll want to get on here and discuss how everything went. And if rumor has it, and I don't want to let everything out of the bag. I'd like for him to tell the story himself, but rumor has it he threw in fantasy speak in his wedding vows. I don't know if that's true, just a rumor, but if he did, that's awesome.
I would have to see. I want to see video.
Well, I mean, we all want to see video. I mean, you don't want to sentence anything or discipline anybody or praise anybody before you actually get all the video, right?
Well, yeah. Speaking of which, we're not going to go there. Anyway, let's start. We got off topic there. It happens. It's late. The caffeine's starting to wear off. Let's get back to
Exactly. Anyway, back to the results. Every Day I'm Wrestling has gotten their revenge on the Northeast Flying Bombers, even though it wasn't a Super Bowl victory. It was at least, it's got to feel good to beat the team that beat you.
Yeah, it's confidence
got
booster.
to.
Confidence booster.
It's got to be. I mean, we all know Every Day I'm Wrestling's in probably one of the hardest divisions. At least it was last year. Who knows what's going to look like this year? But they're definitely one of the hardest divisions in the AFC. He had
in the pre-week 1 episode.
I mean, you look at what he had. He had a great output from Russell Wilson, 21 points. Antonio Brown, drop kicking 23. Percy Harvin showing up, dropping 18. Vernon Davis another 18. But I mean, the defense is what won this game. J.J. Watt 13.5. Levante David 12.5. You look over at the Northeast Flying Bombers, he had the offense. He had Cordell Patterson, 24, Ryan Matthews, 13. But the defense, I mean, they actually both had J.J. Watt. So you would think, but that's all the defense that Northeast Flying Bombers had last week. So in this one, the defense, which is weird because Will's a Seattle type of guy. We all know what kind of defense Seattle has, is what won against Northeast Flying Bombers, in my opinion.
Nope, I agree, and I believe we even heard our commissioner and probably you too discussing defense winning games and making championships. I think that's true to a lesser extent, but I agree. In this one, it did. It sealed the deal. It carried him over, and victory of margin by less than 10 points, and congrats to Will.
Yeah, talk about a nice wedding present.
There you go.
There you go. The other game that we were going to discuss from the Week 1 results was the closest game, I believe, by the numbers.
Yeah. What was that? Big Orange Army versus yours truly. Well, not yours truly, but yours.
Yeah, yours truly, but my truly.
Your Bromy's homies.
Yeah, Bromy's homies.
Bromy, I would have put money on you. What happened here?
It hurts. There's a couple of people I could have started instead that would have got me a win.
Mm-hmm.
But it's freaking division, man. Big Orange Army was very tough last year. I squeaked the division win last year from them, but I was told in the preseason to expect to write down losses when I faced the Big Orange Army. And I unfortunately have to put down a loss against them. It hurts because you look at it so close, and it's just Richard Sherman got me 0 points, but there was Green Bay didn't
throw that side of the field.
One ball did not go that way.
One ball. You can't armchair quarterback too much. Who woulda, coulda, shoulda. We all do it. That's part of fantasy, especially if you're OCD. It will drive you nuts. Were there any players that you looked at starting that you debated on that you kind of maybe, and then didn't do?
When you look at it, Ryan Tannehill actually had a pretty good game against New England. When you look at the way that game started, it didn't look good in the beginning. But Tannehill surprised me a little. I'm looking to possibly starting him this week.
That surprised me a lot.
Little teaser right there for my next opponent. I had Andre Johnson, Terrence Williams. I mean, I just didn't really put the right people in when I should have, and I kept some people out that were good to have kept out, but I think really the one that hurts the most is Rob Gronkowski. Coming off the surgery, and the experts were saying not to start Gronkowski. He's not going to get the ball. They're not going to touch him. Why? They're not going to play him. And first freaking touchdown New England score was Rob Gronkowski. And so, I mean, if I was to pinpoint a starter, it was not starting Gronkowski over anybody else, because the point differential between him and Jason Witten, and that was probably one of the toughest decisions I had all of last year. Was who am I going to start? Who am I going to start? Gronkowski or Witten? Sometimes I start both of them. Both of them sometimes would disappoint me, but in this one, I wasn't really feeling Gronkowski. You know, I listened to the experts and I got burned.
Welcome to fantasy football. So you lost by 1.23 points. How do you think captain's points figured into this?
Oh, captain's points completely figured into this because I have, I almost actually put Richard Sherman as my defensive captain, which that would have been interesting. But he has Peyton Manning, so that right there was definitely what probably, he got the win, I believe, off the captain. I mean, if you look at it right there, his captain scored more than my captain, so it was, home field advantage can only go so far.
Yes, captain, my captain.
Captain, my captain.
There's still a lot of football left, so I mean, it sucks. Would you rather lose by a blowout or lose by a squeaker?
Blowout.
Okay.
Yeah, because that way I know I was just destroyed, and there's nothing best I can do. Here, one pass, one touchdown, 1 yard. That's all it is for 1 point. That's what hurts the most.
Gotcha. Well, alrighty. Anything else you'd like to say or contribute to that?
No, I'm done talking about my loss.
Okay. I think we should have put a tissue near your computer there for you if you'd like to. If you need to compose yourself for a moment.
I need a shot. That's what I need.
There you go. Alrighty. So, what else are we doing? We're going to look at 2 of our upcoming games.
Yeah, let's go ahead and let's take a look at 2 of our upcoming games we got going on.
AFC.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go NFC. Let's get a little NFC. I like to give the NFC a little love. I don't want people to think we're just an AFC type of show. Sure, we're AFC owners, but
I was
the
just
NFC
in alphabetical order.
Oh.
But hey, NFC, let's go. We're wild and crazy on here. What can I say? This is why you tune in live. You get to see the craziness. You get to see what's going on. Again, what do we have? How do you get a hold of us? Twitter,
TSPN at TSPN Network. Hashtag anything you want. Hashtag, quit bitching. Hashtag NFC rules. Hashtag AFC rules. Hashtag questions. Hashtag David Rome sucks.
What about
what do you say?
What about email? Do we have a
TSPN
email?
Yep, we have TSPN email. It's at tspn@gmail.com. It's checked regularly. We're always looking for some type of someone to help us out. Tell us what you want us to hear.
And our phone numbers, which I'm not going to give out over YouTube, but they are available on our league website. Feel free to text anytime, especially while we're doing this. Let us know, hey, you guys, you don't like what we're saying, you want to debate us, you got something to say, you have no right to bitch. If you don't, get involved. That's all I'm going to say with that one. So,
as they say, have a take, don't suck, my friends.
Exactly. All right, so I think with in NFC, we're going Terrible Towels versus Old School.
That is correct. That is a division rivalry.
Ah.
Let's see here. Division rivalry. You got Old School, who many, and by many I mean 3, predicted Old School to be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. So you look at him and you're thinking, well, this should be an easy win for Old School.
Well, it depends on who shows up. He's got Brady as quarterback. Brady did not have such a great outing last week. Jamal Charles, where was he? That's 2 big name players. If they show up, then I think he'll do well. Terrible Towels, on the other hand, Le'Veon Bell looked good. He was shifty, he was fast.
I don't want to make a drug reference here, but he was smoking them fools.
Oh, he was, and I didn't anticipate that. On that, he's also got beast mode. Andrew Luck, he still had a decent showing. Des Bryant, I think Terrible Towels has got a pretty strong team here.
it's definitely one of those where I think the home field advantage may be what's at play.
Well, that and captain's points too might come in a factor. I think it's going to be close. A lot of it too might depend on who's playing who. We've got Jamal Charles. Kansas City is going up against looking at the Broncos. Broncos. Yeah, run defense looked pretty good. Levon Bell, Pittsburgh, playing against Ravens. Neither one of those are going to be pushovers.
No, not at all, man. I mean, the Ravens defense, it's the Ravens defense. They're always good. So, it's definitely one of those games where you kind of think to yourself, it's definitely who's going to show up type of thing. The defenses look pretty even from what I can tell. So it's definitely going to be the offense's dictation.
Well, we got beast mode Chargers. Chargers, I don't think their defense is that bad. But then Old School has LaShawn McCoy. We have Philadelphia going against the Colts. I don't think their run defense is that good.
No, the Colts' run defense is horrible.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough call on this one. If you had to pick right now, who are you going with?
If I were to pick, I mean, Old School.
Old School?
Yeah, hands down.
Okay. Yeah. I think I'm gonna agree with you. I think Jamal Charles. I think he's going to show up this go around. Brady. I mean, love him, hate him. He's a professional. He's been around. He's going to bounce back. He'll do all right, especially with their coach. I mean, they'll figure it out.
I can't disagree with you there. NFC. That's when you're talking division rivals, and Terrible Towers and Old School have themselves a great division rivalry going on, but our next preview, and you gotta feel so horrible for the Rampant Lions going back to back in their own flipping division. But Rampant Lions versus Everyday I'm Rustling. I mean, talk about just a 1-2 punch in this. I mean, I don't know when the schedulers were even dreaming this up. What in the hell were they thinking, doing that to Rampant Lions? That's such a tough back-to-back games.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just had confidence in the Lions that they were going to come out swinging. They did really well last year. I still got plenty of faith in them. Jeff's a good coach. Will's a good coach too. That whole division's pretty tight. We've got 2 wins already in that. Dispensing the Pain's 1-0. Everyday I'm Wrestling's 1-0. Jeff, he's looking for a win.
I mean, he's got the team to get the win. Drew Brees, Reggie Bush, Victor Cruz. If Eli Manning can stay upright and get him the ball, and Julio Jones. I mean, he's definitely got the offensive weapons. You look at Everyday I'm Wrestling and. Whew, God. I mean, almost the exact same players we were just talking about a second ago. Jamar Charles, Antonio Brown, Percy Harvin, Vernon Davis. I feel like we've done nothing, and J.J. Watt. I feel like we've done nothing but talk about these guys.
Where's New Orleans? Are they playing at home?
New Orleans, if they're not playing at home, then it's not looking too good for Breeze.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that they're not going to be back-to-back road games. But let's take a look-see here. Let's look at what New Orleans is doing. They're on the road. They're at Cleveland.
Jeff, I'm sorry, bud. Breeze is a good quarterback, but we all know he's a hometown hero. He struggles on the road, I think. I don't know. Julio Jones, I think, will have a good game. But yeah, I definitely think that the Rampant Lions, I think they're going to start their season 0-2.
Oof, that is such a tough hole to dig out of. I personally had Rampant Lions going all the way. So I mean, I hate to see them start 0-2, but you could easily still handle business if you lose your first 2 and win the rest. So this might be.
I think they struggled starting out the door last year too. I think they caught stride midway and did well, finished strong. I didn't mean to interrupt you, bro.
Oh no, it's good. It's good. That's what we're here for, interrupting each other.
Now, one thing we're old school terrible towels. I'm going to flip back to that 1 second. They are both
Okay, yeah.
0-1.
Ooh.
So they are, yeah. So whoever you lose, you're going to the bottom of the division.
Ooh, that is not good there. That is not good. And when you look, the Maynard Mudfish, they won last week. So, I mean, if they were to win, whoever loses that one, looking at themselves in an 0-2 hold, should even get back into the front of the division.
Yeah.
That's not good. Not good at all. But, let me jump right back to the Rampant Lions real quick and Everyday I'm Wrestling. Because it's time for the Stone Cold Locks. And
Are you going there?
I'm going there. We're going.
Okay.
Most people wouldn't pick this game as a lock at all, because you could easily see either one of them win. But what I'm going to do is not only lock the game, but I am bringing you my upset of the week. It is the Rampant Lions defeating Everyday I'm Wrestling, getting back into this division, showing that they belong, saying, screw you, scheduler. We got this. Rampant Lions, upset, lock it, write it down, guarantee it, stamp it, put whatever you put your head up a bull's ass. I don't care what you do, but it's gonna win. Winner right there, Rampant Lions. Everyday I'm Wrestling. Lock, write it down.
All right. Well, I appreciate your enthusiasm, my friend. You can stick your heads up a cow's ass, but I'll take the butcher's word for it. All right?
Exactly.
That's
how the rest of it goes. I didn't feel like I had to go all the way, but you did.
Yeah.
Tommy Boy reference.
Sorry, that's one lock. Who's your next lock?
The next lock is actually we were just talking about them. The winner of Terrible and Old School. It's not gonna look good because I got the Maynard Mudfish defeating the Big South Bandits. That's my other lock. Looking at looking at the paper right now, the Bandits are considered the favorite, but I don't call this an upset because I believe the Mudfish have the better team. Calvin Johnson, Jimmy Graham, Percy Harvin. I mean, they have Colin Kaepernick at the helm, who can easily, at any time, bust out for tons of points. So I don't see how the Mudfish are underdogs per se, but they're the favorites in my opinion. So Mudfish, other lock.
Yeah, Mudfish they showed strong. They have a good team. I'm not confident enough to put a lock, but yeah, definitely. Okay, well, my two locks. I'm going to go with the NFC first. I'm looking at the Beach Bums over the Wildcats.
Beach Bums over the Wildcats? Why are we going with that?
Well, looking at it, I think both of these teams are, I think they're fairly close, fairly matched. Wildcats, I mean, yeah, you got Cam Newton. We don't know if Cam Newton's going to play.
That is.
Beach Bums, you got Peyton Manning. I think it's going to be enough. He's got Frank Gore. He's got a decent matchup, I think. Austin Miles, Cruz. Hopefully, like you said, Eli will stay upright and manage to get him the ball. The one concern I have with Beach Bums is Jordan Reed. Beach Bums, if you get this, get a new tight end. Get rid of Reed. He's not playing, which we covered in our TCAA. Reed is out. And on top of that, he plays for Washington. Okay, find you a new tight end. Pick one up off waiver wires. Wheel and deal. Find you somebody. I think that you do that, and I think you got to victory, bud.
That was awesome. I can't agree with you more on that. The Wildcats, once again, I don't know what the status is on Cam Newton. He didn't play week 1. He's got Carson Palmer, so unfortunately for us, we can't see what might be the lineups already for these teams. We're going off of what the website is telling us. But I mean, if Cam Newton's not playing, he's got Carson Palmer, which
Palmer looked good. I'll give him that.
Palmer looked really good against San Diego. Let me see here if there's anything new on Cam Newton. And he was back at practice, and he's expected to play week 2 against the Lions. So you've got Cam Newton, rusty against the Lions, and the Lions front 4, front 3. Well, I can't think of what defense they play, but they've got a tough front defense.
Well,
So I mean,
and Palmer's playing the Giants, so I think that would be
God.
an easy decision in my book. But hey, Wildcats, you never know. We'll see if they tune into this or not. That'll
and
if they keep Cam and they get beat, we told you here first.
Exactly. I mean, somehow on paper they're expected to score a ton of points, but Carson Palmer against the Giants defense.
Yeah, they
record breaking right there. Some
that whole
records.
division sucks.
You're gonna be seeing USC Carson Palmer right there, going up against the Giants defense. Oh my God.
Alrighty, I'm going for my next lock.
All right, what do you got?
Bromy, I know you're sad, you're down, you lost by a little bit. You're playing loose ends this week. Bromy, you're my lock.
Word.
Taking Bromy's homies over the loose ends. Loose ends, I know, is our he's fairly new. Matt's getting his feet wet. He's got Nick Foles. Come on, lose the Foles. Get you a real quarterback.
Baby.
Exactly. He plays one on TV. Now I see you have Ryan Tannehill. Interesting choice.
Very impressed with him last week.
I didn't think he would do that well, but he did. You got Frank Gore going. Got some Des Bryant, AJ Green. AJ Green was a beast. He did really well. Andre Johnson. I see you got Gronkowski in there now. I think that's a good choice, definitely. I can't say his first name, but
Indominant.
There you go. Thank you. Bless you. He's good. Clay Matthews, Green Bay. I like what I'm seeing. So hey, got 2 thumbs up. Romy's my lock.
Hey, I appreciate the love right there. Can't go wrong with that pick. That might be one of the best picks you've ever had, right there.
Thank you. Yeah. Take it to Vegas, baby.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at just throwing this out there. I mean, San Diego is going up against Seattle's defense, and Miami's going up against Buffalo's defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rodgers didn't really do too good against the Seattle defense, so I will be taking my chances with Tannehill and Buffalo Bills because I can't. This just looks like a better opportunity in my opinion.
Well, that's one of the things we do here. We're looking at we look at the players, but we also look at the matchups. That's part of fantasy football. For those of you new to it, you can't just always count on your big dollar guys to make points. Sometimes you gotta play the matchups more so than you play the players. And that's part of fantasy. You might have a favorite player or somebody out there, but you gotta sometimes look through that, and you can't see the forest for the trees. I think that about wraps us up, though, don't it?
Yeah, I agree with you more on anything of that nature. It definitely does wrap us up. I want to thank everyone for listening to us.
And
we have talked.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
There's multiple ways to get a hold of us, people. We want you to get involved. We want you to give us some feedback. Tweet us, email us, text us, whatever. Come on the show.
Yeah, we're always looking for guests. I apologize for some of the lateness that this does have. Like we said, we work, and we do this at this time frame because it's what's best for our ability to get it done before the Thursday games. I spend the next day editing the footage to get it out there for you guys. So I'm going to go to bed after I load this up and edit it first thing in the morning and have it up by about kickoff, hopefully before kickoff.
And we're live. If you don't want to wait, hey, pop on, watch us now.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna, not to give away anything that's ungiveawayable, but on YouTube, that's unedited, my friends. If you watch us live, you get everything. The rants that we have off air, the trying to even decide what we're going to do. You get all the pre-show, post-show, middle of the show, all the antics we've got. I mean, you want to see some bloopers. We've got some bloopers before we even start this madness. Exactly. But once again, I want to thank everybody for listening to us. This is the David Rome and Dan Tirico show, and we will see you better than ever next time. Have a good day.
This has been a TSPN special.